Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a sort of vlog for you. This is my 1,000 subscriber appreciation vlog thing. Yeah, so if you guys didn't know, my channel just reached 1,000 subscribers. I think it's still at 1,000 right now. So if someone unsubscribes, I'm gonna drop below 1,000. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But anyways, yeah, so my channel finally reached 1,000 subscribers. This is a huge milestone for me. 1,000 subs means I can do many things. I can, start live streaming through my phone instead of having to use my computer, which is a pain in the ass to do. I also can use the YouTube community thing, which actually they changed recently, so I could have used it regardless. But also, I could start monetizing my videos and make like a cent a month. That's gonna be very interesting to see. But anyways, it's just a good number to have. You know, my channel has been stuck in the 3-digit range for so long now, and finally it's reached the 4-digit realm. So I'm very excited about that. Unfortunately, I'm not home. For the summer, I am still away for college, and so unfortunately, I don't have any of my trains to show you guys. Can't really make a special subscriber or 1,000 sub video because I'm not at home. But I figured I would show you guys all the engines that I bought within the span of 6 months. I've bought a ridiculous amount of engines, as you can see right here. Many of which are actually I'm not going to be keeping. Some of them I'm going to be selling. But this is basically, I figured I would take all the engines out of their boxes and lay them out like this. There is one engine that's not in this picture, which I will talk about later. But yeah, these are all engines that I purchased within the span of 6 months. Some of them I bought I'm going to be selling, mostly because I can't justify owning this many engines within the span, for my layout, because I just don't need that many engines. But yeah, so this, as you can see here, clearly this is not my home. This is some other place. And it's kind of a mess. I do apologize. And also I'm using this gimbal here, which is pretty cool. It makes it so all my movements on my phone should be very smooth. Hopefully it will help out the video quality. That being said, you will see a little thing on the corner here sometimes. That is the gimbal itself, so please excuse that. But anyways, yeah, so I figured I'd just show you guys some of the new engines that I bought as a little subscriber special. But yeah. That being said, though, again, I appreciate everyone for subscribing. It's been a long journey. Hopefully this channel lasts. I've been uploading for about like 6-7 years now. So I don't know, hopefully it will continue growing, and we'll see from there. But thank you so much for everyone for your support. All the comments, all the likes, all the positive support overall has been fantastic. And yeah, hopefully hopefully this channel continues to grow, but we don't know. We'll see what the future holds. But anyways, I'm sure you guys are probably wondering what the heck I got. So without further ado, let's dive in. So to begin, I have 2 engines here. This one I just got today. That's the reason it's not inside the box. But the box is right behind it. This is a BLI Santa Fe 282, the 4000 class. This has the disc main driver, which is really cool. My other one, number 40323, has no disc main driver. It's just regular spoked driver. So I got a second one. I wasn't really planning to get a second one because I already have a Sunset engine, so this is technically my third Santa Fe 282. However, this one was really cheap, really good price. I got this for. That's the reason I purchased it. Should I tell you guys the prices? I'll tell you the prices. I paid $250 shipped for this thing, so that's $250 including tax and shipping. Yeah. Next up here we have a Sunset Prestige Series factory painted Pennsylvania Railroad B6SB. If you guys can tell, it's missing a headlight, which is very obvious. But the paint job looks fantastic from Sunset. I need to paint the tires, and I gotta fix some things up. The original owner painted the number plate in the front there red, which is wrong. But otherwise, this thing looks really nice. It just needs a headlight. It runs fine. But I've been looking for a replacement B6SB for my old Red Ball brass one. And this thing looks fantastic. The Red Ball brass one has some inaccuracies that just bothered me too much, so I bought this one. Anyways, yeah, so this thing's gonna be a really nice little addition to my collection. Onside a headlight and some sound, it'll look fantastic. I paid $150 for that. Also, no tax, no shipping. Next up, all right, so we have a whole bunch of engines here on the ground here. This one didn't come with a box. That's the only reason why it's up there. But all these down here have boxes. And yeah, so I guess we'll go from the top left and go to the bottom right. So on the top left here, we have a NJCB New York Central L2C class Mohawk. These things are extremely rare. I believe only, according to brasschanged.com, there's only 100 made, although I think there's probably a few more than that. This thing is a fantastic deal for what you get. These are some of the most detailed engines you'll ever see. This thing has a terrible paint, or not terrible, but not preferable paint job by the original owner. But you guys can see the detail is absolutely insane on this guy. Just a beautiful model all around. And the reason I call this an excellent value is because these engines, no one makes a New York Central L2 class that's cheap. Key L2 classes are like 800, 900 bucks up to 1,500. This is the only other L2 class that isn't made by Key in HO scale. And these go for about $550 usually. I paid $150 for this one. That is $150 plus $10 shipping, so yeah. Next up here, we have an MTH Empire State Express. These things are also insanely rare. I am honestly surprised that I found one. I traded this for another engine, so that's the reason. I actually traded this for, I traded this for another engine, so I can't give you a price on this, but it's just beautiful. I mean, seeing how this thing goes. I actually do plan to make a review on this guy because as nice as it is, there are some things that I feel rather strongly about, and I feel like it deserves its own review video, but this thing is absolutely gorgeous, basically brand new condition. Next up, we have a West Side New York Central J1E. This thing is also insanely detailed, much more detailed than the BLI version, but that being said, my BLI version suffices for me. I'm not that picky about the stuff, and honestly, the BLI ones look fine. This one I plan to resell. So yeah, I paid $150 for this guy too. It also needs a little bit of work. The paint job is also terrible. I need to strip it. It's also missing the injectors on both sides. So yeah. Next up, we have a Sunset non-prestige Pennsylvania Road K4. These are fantastic models. Again, fantastic for the price. They come with a separate post-war pilot and front. So if you want to change it out, you can. That being said, they only made it with the long tender. They didn't make a K4 with the regular tender, except in their prestige line, which is a whole different thing. That thing is terrible. But their standard line K4 is fantastic. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. The original owner did a fantastic job painting it. I'm going to repaint the wheels, and there's a few other things I need to fix. But otherwise, this paint job is fantastic. Unfortunately, as I said, it only came with the long tender version. And if you guys didn't know, the long tender, Pennsylvania Road only had 12 K4s with the long tenders, and they were removed by the late 1930s, so like 1939ish. So a post-war K4 it would never make sense to see a post-war K4 with a long tender, because the long tenders on K4s were gone by 1939, and the post-war stuff was added around 1945 to 1948. But yeah, this is a fantastic engine. I forget how much I paid. I think I paid around $140 for this guy, not including tax or shipping on eBay. Next up, we have a Sunset Brass M1A. This is also an extremely rare model. I can go into detail about this kind of stuff, but I don't want to talk too much about this. But basically, these are fantastic models for the price. They're more detailed than the Gem or West Side versions. The BLIM ones are extremely undetailed in my opinion. A lot of stuff's molded on. This thing has the same level of detail as Oriental Limited, but only costs about 300 bucks on average. That being said, I only paid, I think, like, around 180, I think, for this guy, plus or minus $20. It also needs a new paint job. This paint job is horrendous. It also has a bad gearbox, but it has the CAN motor and everything like that, and it runs, once I replace the gearbox, it should run smooth. But this thing is also very well detailed, as you can see. Very good looking engine. Next up, we have a Key New York Central first run L3B. So Key made 2 runs of Mohawks. The first run were pretty freaking terrible. The quality control is terrible. The L4A, L4B, and L3A are all inaccurate. The only accurate Mohawk they made in the first run is the L3B, which looks like this. Again, it's a beautiful model, but there are some inaccuracies. I won't get too much into detail. If you do have any questions about that though, or if you're curious, please leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to let you know about it. But yeah, this guy, first run, as I said, poor quality control, a lot of inaccuracies. The L3B is the only one that is more or less accurate. Their second run things are much better, but they also cost like 900 bucks. These only cost around $250-ish. I paid $225 for this, including tax, including shipping. So again, a fantastic model. Next up, we have a stock BLI Paragon 2 I1SA. This thing has a few broken details, like I think it's missing one stanchion and the handrails and the cab are a little wacky, but otherwise this thing runs fine. It's basically brand new otherwise. Paragon 2, everything that I need to say has to be said here. I'm sure you guys already know a lot about this kind of engine. This one I paid, I believe, $250 for. All right, back over here. Here is a pro-painted Hallmark Brass Illinois Central 280. This one I do plan to be reselling, just like the New York Central J1E there. Again, pro paint job. I think I might have a buyer for this guy already. It is a lovely engine. I really hate to sell it, but I just don't model Illinois Central, unfortunately. But again, the paint job is absolutely pro. It is a lovely model. Runs actually really well. Need a little bit of work, but it runs really well now. And yeah, these are usually a hit or miss. The quality control in these were atrocious. A lot of them had bad wheels, but this one here is perfectly fine. So I'm really glad I got a good one here. This was from a trade, so I can't tell you the price on this either. Next up, we have a Hallmark Brass Santa Fe. It's actually the 1337 class, I believe. Hallmark kind of messes up a little bit. But this is one of the older Santa Fe 462s. This is, if you guys don't recognize the model, Fujiyama made a very similar model. In fact, the same exact prototype, but different model. These Hallmark ones are a lot rarer. Their build quality is a little bit worse, but the detail is significantly better. There's so much more piping and so much more raw detail, like these boiler straps, that the Fujiyama ones, which are also a lot more common, those don't have. This is significantly more detailed. However, as I said, the quality control is a little bit wacky on these. Unfortunately, I was gonna keep this one, but I'm gonna end up selling it because I bought way too many engines. There's a lot of things here I wasn't planning to get, and so as a result, I plan to sell this guy. Needs a little bit of work, but I'm gonna sell this guy off. I paid $150 for this guy. Can motor, runs really well. Next up, we have a lot more engines. Next up, we have an Alco Brass Pennsylvania Railroad E6. This one is a little interesting. I paid only $200 for this, which is fantastic, again, for one of these Alco ones. The Alco ones didn't have, also not great build quality. It's not far from their worst, but I think it was KSM who made this, or something, I forget. But the build quality is a little bit hit or miss on these. For some reason, so I got this engine, and it's very clear to me that the engine and tender are not the same. So this tender is actually from the Alco E5S. I believe it is the same class of tender. However, this is made by Cobra. That is made by, I believe, again, KSM. I'm not really sure. But the original owner painted these separately because this looks like a black to me. I'm not sure. It could be a DGLE. It looks very dark, though, because it's glossy. Whereas this one here is not glossy, it's matte, and it's very clearly green. You can see the drivers are black, but the body is green. So I'm really hoping these two match, because I do like the paint scheme, or the paint job. If after I clear or add gloss to this, if they do match, then I'm going to keep it as is, because it saves me from having to paint this guy again. The striping looks fantastic on the tender, so I would like to keep that. However, if after gloss coating this, they don't match, I'm gonna have to repaint it, unfortunately. But regardless, this engine is really nice. The cab here, the pilot here is a little wiggly, it's wobbly, it's not very, I need to resolder that. And also the gearbox is bad. This actually did come with a uninstalled, but like factory boxed Northwest Shortline gearbox. So I don't have to pay the extra $30 to buy a gearbox. This already came with it. And again, I only paid $200 for this, which is a fantastic deal for one of these. These go for a lot more money than that. Next up, we have an NJCB Pennsylvania Railroad C1. This is an 080. I love the drivers on these. The counterweights are so big on these models that they almost look like disc drivers. Not quite in this photo, or it's kind of hard to tell, I guess, but I really like the look of this guy. Very well detailed by NJCB. Also made by KSM. Build quality is a little off. There are some areas where as you see there, the pipe kind of, came off there, or right there. You can see that this pipe on the right should be connected to that piece on the right there. So there are some quality control issues that I'll have to fix, but it also runs a little noisy, so I'll have to figure out how to quiet it down. But it has a can motor like that. Again, Korean brass models generally have worse build quality, except for Samhangsa. Samhangsa usually has really good ones. That being said, that one over there is kind of terrible. But what was I saying? Yeah, so these usually have a little bit worse build quality, but once you repair the details and stuff like that, resolder some connections, they look fantastic. There's so much more detail than the early Japanese stuff. So yeah, very well detailed engine overall. And I got this thing for a steal. I paid only $147, not including tax, not including shipping. This is an eBay purchase for this engine. These go for, well, they used to go for like 500. These days they go for like 250-ish, maybe 300. But still, these are really rare, and I'm glad I paid only 150 for this guy. Great deal. Next up, okay. So this, if you guys didn't know, this is one of the worst brass engines ever made in existence, in HO existence at least. It is the infamous Alco K3Q. So this has the same, importer as this. They're both made by Alco. However, the maker is very different. This, again, I forget what it is. I think it's KSM who made this. I'm not 100% sure on that. But this one is made by Cobra. Cobra also actually made the E5. That's the reason you'll see a lot of Alco E5s for sale that are not running, because they're just terribly made. And that goes the same with this K3Q. So, made by Cobra, has terrible build quality. A lot of stuff is awful. It's kind of hard to tell, but literally, like, this cab floor is sideways. If you can see that piece on the bottom there, but beneath the cab, that's the cab floor. It's literally sideways. Again, build quality is terrible. These are infamous for having frames that are not even aligned properly, so the wheels don't spin. The gearbox is garbage. The motor is also garbage. I actually removed both already. I'm going to be installing my own can motor and Northwest Rolling gearbox to make these run good. Fortunately, this frame is actually intact. This frame actually rolls really freely, so this engine I can just roll really freely. So thankfully, I don't have any issues there. But that being said, these have a lot of build quality issues and overall need a lot of work. But this is the only New York Central 462 you can buy. Besides the Sunset K5B, in HO market for under $1,000. So under $1,000, HO 462 that's not USRA, the only ones you could get is the Alco K3Q and the Sunset K5B, which the Sunset K5B is a fantastic model. I had two of them. I don't know if you guys did that video before, but I have two of them. This one is terrible in build quality, but it is the only other model, and these were so prominent in real life. So it will require a lot of work, but it's much easier buying this and trying to fix it than it is trying to scratch build one on yourself or something like that. So overall, this is still a good engine to get. Very rare, I think, and just it's better than scratch building, but it needs a lot of work. So yeah, and also I did not pay a good price for this engine. I actually went to New York City, and I think I went to, I believe it's called the Red Caboose. The owner is interesting. I do like the guy. He's really nice. But that being said, I did not pay a good price for this. I paid, I believe, $230 for this guy. This build quality for this kind of engine is worth like $150 tops. But the guy was nice, and so I ended up, I was like, screw it, I'm here already. I want to buy something in New York, so I just bought this engine. Anyways, and also, like, these are rare, so, $230, it's not the worst price, but it's definitely not great. Compared to all these other engines I got for really good prices, this is no good. But yeah, did I tell you the prices for these? Yeah, I think I did. Okay, cool. Next up here, this is a Sunset Prestige Pennsylvania Road V6SB. Exactly the same as that one over there, except that one's factory painted. This is factory unpainted. I actually got this one first. I got this one first. This thing has a lot of issues. The headlight sideways, the number plate is literally not even centered. It's missing a step. If you can see right there's a hole right there. There should be a step there, and there's some dents right there. So there's some really bad quality control issues. Not hard to fix at all, but just annoying fixes. And I also had to paint this, and so I realized. So I paid I think $170 for this. I paid $170, and I was really disappointed with this. And this one has no quality control issues. All it needs is the headlight. It's already factory painted, so it makes it a lot easier for me. And it was $150, so I had to get that one. So now that I have this one, though, I'm gonna be selling this guy off. I just don't need it. I don't need a second V6SB. I guess a third V6SB if you count the one I have right now. But I'm gonna be selling that one too. So I'm just gonna be keeping this one V6SB for now. But yeah, so this guy I'm gonna sell along with this guy, and that guy right there. All right, and the last engine here is a BLI H10S. This is the Lines West style. I have a Lines East one, however, I don't really like the tender on that one. They just took the tender from the I1SA and put on the back of this engine, which is realistic. However, I believe only 3 H10s in real life had that tender. It was very uncommon, and so I basically plan to sell that one and swap this one in. So basically, sort of like trading it. I got a good price for this one. I believe I think I paid. Well, I bought it in a lot, so I don't really know if it counts. But I bought it with a bunch of other stuff from my friend. So I don't really think I could count that. But I would say I paid roughly about $150 for this guy. These things go for an insane amount of money these days. One of them sold for $510 for just a brand new BLI H10. Another one sold for like $450. I think the average price these days you find them for is like $400, usually $450 up to $500, which is crazy for one of these. And the reason I believe is because BLI effectively destroyed the tooling for the H10. If you guys didn't know, they also make a Fantasy 280 that they paint under like a million different paint schemes, and that is actually originally their H10 tooling, which I believe they probably destroyed in order to make the Fantasy engine. They basically just removed the Belpaire firebox, and they put a USRI tender in the back, and now they paint it under like 1,000 paint schemes, and they sell it for a lot of money. But I think in the process, again, I'm not sure about this, but I'm pretty sure they destroyed the H10 tooling because they haven't released the H10 in forever. I'm not really sure why they didn't, but anyways. Yeah, so that is pretty much it. So again, a lot of engines. I'm going to go back to zoom mode here. A lot of engines to look at. I'm going to actually sit back up. There we go. But yeah, so that is all the engines I bought. I'm trying to get rid of that thing in the bottom right. A lot of engines I bought. Going to be selling some of them off, as I said, but there's some really rare engines in this collection that I'm really glad I got. So I paid really good prices on most of these except that one. And I got some really rare ones. I'm most excited about that one and this one and that one, and honestly those two too. Those are just so hard to find, and they're such good value. Sunset standard line stuff is honestly fantastic. Their Prestige is more questionable, but their standard line stuff is fantastic, especially for the price. You get basically an engine that's a little bit less detailed than Key imports, but still fantastic, money. But still, like the price of like a little bit more than PFM United, so really good value for money there. But anyways, that is all the engines I bought. That's the best I could do for a 1,000 subscriber special. Again, I don't have any layout here. I literally just have this bit of test track. That's all I have here. So I tried my best, guys. I'm really sorry. I do plan to be going home in August for about a week only. So hopefully I should be able to show you guys the layout. But unfortunately, again, I'm only home for a week and then it's back to college. So very busy right now, unfortunately. And yeah, so anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. This kind of turned into a weird video, 2 different topics combined into one. But yeah, I tried. I'm really sorry. Anyways, so yeah, thank you so much for your continued support, guys. 1,000 subscribers, finally made it there. I'm so happy, so proud of us. We're gonna, push this channel till it grows to whatever it grows to. I don't know. But I'm trying to, increase the engagement, increase the amount of subs. Hopefully people can see these videos again. Hopefully they're entertaining. And yeah, so 1,000 subscriber milestone finally complete. But that is pretty much it for me here. It would take too much time for me to show how all these run. By the way, all of these are DC except for the ready to run ones. Obviously, those are all DCC sound, but the rest are all plain DC. Anyways, oh shoot, actually one more thing I forgot to mention. So the one engine that I have that's not here because I couldn't bring it here is a Gem Brass Pennsylvania Road S1, the 6446 engine, the really rare one. The reason I didn't bring it is because I'm actually selling it. So it unfortunately won't be a permanent part of the collection, mostly just because it can't run on my curves at all. It's going to require like 35, 40-inch curves. Sorry, for 35 to 40-inch radius curves. And my layout is just too small. Also, this one is just kind of not really my thing. But anyways, I do have one currently that I'm trying to sell. So yeah, if any of you guys are interested in any of the engines I said I was for sale, those 2, that one, this one, please let me know. and hopefully we can get in touch, get in contact, and you can get some mentions. And whatever money I make will be put back into supporting this channel, supporting the engines and model, supporting the layout, and yeah. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.